Are you in retail product development? Are you creating line sheets across a ton of different worksheets or a ton of different Excels and you want to do it all in one system in Airtable? Today, we're going to be showing you how to build a custom interface extension in Airtable that does all of that for you, all within Airtable. Today, I have Christina from the Optimize IS team. She's one of our senior developers here. She's really skilled at building these custom interfaces, and so she's going to be walking us through that step by step. So, Christina, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Ben. So what you're looking at right here, we kind of already have got this custom interface sort of initialized, and we're kind of ready to build here. So I'm using Claude Code. I have it already connected to my Airtable base via the MCP. It knows what my schema looks like. It knows what data that I have in the base. And we've started this new custom interface extension, and we're going to build a line sheet in here. So one of the huge benefits of using custom interfaces and the level of sort of customization that you can get to in here is we're going to actually be able to extract a PDF from our custom extension. So this is such a popular use case that people need all the time. Like, we need to be able to extract the information that we have in Airtable and make it presentable and able to be shared externally. So this could apply to so many different things of what we're about to build here. But for what we have in this space, obviously we've got like a sort of pseudo like e-commerce store that we set up. And now I have all these products, and I actually want to make like it from a wholesale point of view. So we're going to make these line sheets so we could, show our customers, hey, this is the drop that we have coming up. Here's all the product details. And we'll be able to pull a PDF, and we'll be able to like email those to our customers. So I already have my extension set up in Claude Code. I'm gonna actually briefly show you Claude Code once I put this prompt in here. So I had everything initialized. We're gonna jump over to Claude
So as she's
Code.
pulling that up, there we did a video right before this where we initialized the interface extension. So if you want to see just how to set up a normal Airtable extension, there is another video on that. Once you have it set up, this is the workflow that we're going to be going through on, like, how do you customize what that extension looks like.
Exactly. So that's what all of this top part of the chat here is. It's me, initializing this new custom extension. It's Airtable reading everything about my base via the MCP. And so now it let me know, okay, it's ready to build. It's connected to the server. And I have just pasted in a prompt that I had set up prior to this. And so Claude is reading that prompt now, so it knows, okay, this is what we're going to be making in this custom extension. And so now it's actually going to go in and write all of the code. And we might have to wait a little bit.
So how did you write this prompt? Did you also use Claude to write the prompt?
I actually I did. I used Claude to write the prompt. So I basically just gave it like my knowledge of a line sheet already and everything that I know needs to be included in a line sheet. And I said, and now I'm going to ask Claude Code to build an Airtable custom extension for me of a line sheet generator. So if you were going to go tell Claude, this is what it needed to put in a line sheet, go ahead and write out that whole prompt for me. So it's really good at expanding on whatever ideas it is that you're giving it already. So I could have sit and spent a bunch of time like writing out all of the possible variations of information that needs to be included in a line sheet. But as soon as I gave it a little bit of context on what I mean when I say line sheet and what I think of when, I know what's included in a line sheet, then it expanded on that and got into way more detail so that I didn't have to go and write out all of that information. So while that's running, we will go back over into Airtable. So obviously right now I'm still seeing the hello world. As Claude starts to write the code, you'll see here it's going to start refreshing on the server as soon as it starts building the code and the file that it's going to build it in. It's going to do all that on its own. I don't need to babysit it. I don't need to like sit and do anything. It's literally just like going to write the whole thing for me. And this is one shot. So again, I did spend a little bit of time like going through the prompt itself and crafting like, okay, what should I, what needs to be included in this? So the more detailed you are up front with what it needs to be and what you're expecting the output to be, the better like one shot it's going to do of just like building it the first time. But that doesn't mean that like once we see what it looks like, once it actually gets it built in here, we're going to be able to make all these edits. Like we're going to be able to literally, usually what I'll do is I'll go and I'll take a screenshot of like a very specific area of the screen and be like, hey, this looks like this, but can you add some padding here? Or can we change the color of this? And I'll drop that screenshot in the Claude chat and then it'll just go ahead and make that update for me. I'll see the change come through live and then validate it. And then I can kind of just like move on to the next thing.
That's awesome. So it'll push updates direct here? Or like as soon as it publishes?
Yeah.
Like it publishes, I guess, direct as soon as it has code? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And this isn't like published to my Airtable base just yet. This is in development. So it's actually like it's looking at the folder on my computer with the code. So if I were to hit publish on this right now without actually publishing the interface itself or the extension itself, which I have to do via the code, we wouldn't see it on Airtable's front end here.
Okay.
So there's like a finalization step. And then again, as we're making additional updates, like we'd have to start the server again. The server's looking at the folder on my computer. It's looking at the code that's there. It's displaying it here. And then we would have to like any changes that we made in that session, so to speak, we would have to like republish it to Airtable before it would see any of those updates. So it's got a file built. And you can see here, it's letting me know, okay, I'm missing some info in the properties panel. So a really important step that we have to take for every single one is we have to expose our Airtable data to the code. So just because it knows what's in here, we have to actually tell it, okay, you're allowed to use this piece of data. So that's what's happening in this configuration panel right here. If I click on the data table, I can see that I'm only exposing the collections table. So it's only able to see in there like what is available. I wanted to see everything because I needed to see everything in order to make this line sheet, or I really don't need everything. I probably just need my products and my colorways. And then also within those tables, I need to make sure that it can see all of the actual fields in those tables. So unfortunately, this is a very manual process right now of having to go in and just select. And again, I don't have to select everything here, but I'm just going to just to make sure that we have access to everything. Like we want to show all of the fields right here. So now we have all of the fields going, and then it's asking me for a brand info table, but we don't have a brand info table. So let's go ahead and make one really quickly. I'm sure it wants to have our logo file. So we're going to say brand info. And this will be our logo file. And then I'm going to go ahead and add our logo. So we've got that now. So we're going to go back here. And then we're going to add in that new table that we just created called brand info. We're going to make sure that we show the fields on there. Yes, we have the fields. And then we're going to add in that brand info table here. So now it wants me to refresh. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. And then you'll see I still have my server running. Here we go. So now it has all of the fields that it needs to see that information right here. So we've got grouping by delivery window, category, or none, and then active or inactive products. And then we've got like order closing date, estimated shipping date, and then we should be able to see some of the product photos that are here. But at least it has the placeholders here for us to see, okay, what is it going to look like from a layout perspective as we start to put this information here together. So if I hit export to PDF, oh, go ahead.
Right now, is that showing like actual records from the table, or is that sample data that the code generated?
No, this is actual records that are in the table it's looking at right now, and including like the names of all of the like colorways that I have here. Like this is what the actual products that I have in there are. So it's pulling actual data that we have in here. So yeah, I've got everything. I wonder why it's not showing my assets here. I have everything exposed. So now I would go back to Claude Code and tell it what I see. Like, okay, I see that this came through, and be like, I can't see my actual product images that are in here. Why can't I see it? After troubleshooting over here and making sure that I have all the settings that I need to have set here. So I'm going to go back to Claude Code and just say, and actually I do this, this is a lot of the back and forth that's here. We're going to take a screenshot. I'm going to go drop it in Claude. Claude can see the work that it has done and say, here's the finished product, but I can't see any assets.
So are you just dropping all that context into that same thread, basically, that you had open with Claude, and it'll go back through the code that it's developed locally and then push another update?
Yes. Yep, exactly. It'll go in, it'll open that folder. It'll go, okay, I think I need to make this change. I think I need to make this change. It'll write and change whatever it needs to within the code. And then, yeah, it's going to basically refresh this, and we will see like that refresh come through live as it's like making the changes to the code. It can be a little nerve-wracking because you'll see there might be like error messages that pop up here as it's updating the code, but that just means because it's literally in the middle of writing something and it hasn't finished it yet.
Yeah.
So usually you just have to wait, and obviously check your, chat window, and see, okay, when is it actually done writing the update that it needs to write? So yeah, it's walking me through. It's like, okay, I think I need to make this change. I think I need to make this change.
It looks like it just
and it's actually going in
some colors.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually, I've got the hex codes in there for like what those colorways are. So it's going and like reading that properly. And it's saying colorway hex colors are added. Product photos now tries product photos spec first, then falls back to hero, the actual lookup field. So yeah, still no actual photos in here, unfortunately, but at least we got the colorways now. So we will try again.
Could you show a little bit of what Claude Code is doing so we can see like what are you prompting it and what is it saying back?
Yeah. So after I put in the initial prompt here, again, it just like read all of that. It didn't have any questions for me. And I usually prompt it to ask me questions. I'll be like, hey, is there something about this you don't understand? Or is there something about this that you need more context for? And then usually when you ask it to ask you questions, it will kind of stop itself first and it won't just like dive in. It'll come back and be like, well, you could explain this thing a little bit better. I kind of don't know what you mean by this. And then I'll go through with like some clarifying information. But I didn't ask it to do that for me this time. I wanted it to just open up and run and read all of the files. So that's exactly what it did. And then this was how long? A couple minutes maybe,
Yeah.
going through and actually like writing that first version of the file. And then it told me, what files did it create here. And then it gave me some assumption on the schema that it needs. Oh, good. It's putting the images in there now. And so then I gave it like my first piece of feedback. I sent a screenshot of like, okay, here's what it looks like, but I can't see any assets. So then it went through, it looked at the code again, and then it's kind of letting me know the updates that it's making as it's updating them. And then it's telling me, okay, it's live now. Go look and check and see if it's there. So then from here, I was like, yeah, I still can't see it. And then it went through and it made another update. So you can see the update that.
So you're also like saying, I see in there, like, reminder, have you looked at the schema of the base? Make sure you know where the assets are, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes it makes a lot of assumptions and it's like, nope, there is a very specific field that I have in my schema that's called photos, and that's where you should be pulling the photos from. So if you're pulling it from there, you shouldn't be having any issues. And so then again, it went back and it found the right field that it needed to look at. And now it's actually put my photos in here of what's in there. So we have the beginnings of our line sheet right here. Now we can see the photo exactly as it's pulled. If I go into my colorways table, you can see I've got all of these products loaded here. And then I've got some of the like 3D files. Obviously those aren't going to go in the line sheet, but so it's pulling all of this data exactly as I have it filled out in my base into this now totally custom interface extension here. And now I just need to go through and, okay, what information is missing from here? Here's the format that it needs to be in. Walk through adding in all of those product details to each one of these cards. And then as I'm actually adding in new products to the base, once this is complete, this is always going to be up to date with the view of the information that I need. And then I can just go to export PDF right here. And then obviously I can't preview the final, but this is basically just a nice printable view of all of this information. And with the images and everything.
If there's a pop-up there, we can't see it. So is that basically giving you a pop-up?
I know.
Downloading straight to like your desktop or downloads where you could ship it out from there?
Yep, exactly. It's opening up my Chrome, print preview. And then from here, I'm just saving it as a PDF, or if I literally wanted to print it, I obviously could.
Awesome. And so with this, you could imagine you could also filter like what products show up on here, like whether it's for a specific like launch or for a specific season. You could have a specific line sheet for many different purposes.
Exactly. And it built in some like inline functionality. So if I wanted to go by category, I could go by category, but I can always still use Airtable's like native filters here. So if I wanted to add a filter element at the top and I wanted to buy products specifically, I could do that. Or if I wanted to filter by, we'll add another one here. If I wanted to filter by collection, I could also filter by collection. Oh, I might need to add in some more configurations to be able to do that. But yeah, so if I had like our 2026 drop and I only wanted to see the products that were included with that particular collection that we were coming out with, I would select that one. It would filter down to just those ones, again, with all the information. And then, yeah, and then I could send it out.
Awesome. This is really cool.
It's just the beginning. It's fun how much you can actually add in, like once you get into here, and you can see you can pull every single little tiny piece of data into however you want it to be displayed here.
Yeah, I think it really changes the game for like what's possible with Airtable. Like if you wanted to do this before, you'd be forced to use a external tool, or maybe give everybody
Yeah.
access to the data layer, which isn't ideal. So this is really
Yeah.
powerful. So if you liked this and you want to see another demo of another custom interface, you can click on one of the videos here in the end screen to go see our optimized merch store, which is the other interface in here. If you want to go see like a little bit of the behind the scenes on how that one was built, it's that one we started design first, or Christina started design first. So that one's a really cool video to go watch. Also, if you just want to go see again how this interface was initialized and you want to go watch that video, the other video here on the end screen will be where you can go click to see that, to see from scratch how do you start up a new custom interface in Airtable. So thank you so much, and thank you, Christina.